Alrighty guys and gals, so we're here with another episode on the 340. This one's going to be probably a pretty short one, but kind of a technical one. Okay, so one of the things about this engine is we have these really super cool guy freaking W2 valve covers, but there's a big problem. As they are brand new, new old stock, and believe it or not, there are probably more pairs of these that are new old stock than have ever been used. I have seen probably 20 sets of these new old stock, ranging from $800 to $450, which is I think I get from mine, or $350. So there's a lot of them out there. So please, if you've got a set, don't be afraid to use them. There's a lot of them out there. So on mine, I've got to put the holes in them, and these tops are really thick. Well, we can't find my blue Dykem fluid. It should be over with the lathe, but we can't find it anywhere. So Sharpie it is. In the middle, we're going to mark it with a T with our calipers here. And then that'll tell us the dead center where to put a hole. So on one of these, we're going to have an oil filler, and it's going to be one of these caps. And the hole will have to be hole sawed out to that size, because I'm actually going to probably set this down almost flush with there almost, because I don't want it sticking up like they would have it. But these are really nice caps. I used these before on my brother's fuel tank for his 84 that we've not installed yet, but I have used those before, and they weld pretty good. The other thing is I got these Proform breathers, and I really don't like these, but they were already black wrinkle, and it was about the only option we could find. We'll silver this out, and if we can make this style work, that'll be there, and that'll be TIG welded in right there. So we're gonna see how this turns out. So okay, so I just committed the atrocity of the century and drilled a hole in these valve covers. So just because I want to know how thick these are. So, put my calipers through. They are almost 600 thousandths thick. They're over ½ inch thick on the top. So, yeah. I don't think there's enough trimming you can do to that grommet to ever make that work. I mean, we're talking about... So this is literally the full thickness from the back side here, the casting, to the top of there. And I mean, that's basically... That's just shy of being the entire grommet. Okay, so we're going to the backup plan. Instead of putting the Jegs welded oil filler like I really wanted to do, because I always wanted to do it to a pair of valve covers, it just requires too big of a hole. And by that I mean, and I measured this thing center to center, and it still seems off. Like, it's closer to this side than this side. Don't know what the heck happened there. Maybe it was error there on my part. We see how big it's got to be. And that's just to set that lip down in there, and I want to make this even bigger so it's flush, so that's a no-go. So you'll see this scribe, this scribe, this scribe's kind of messed up in that one, and that is for the grommet. So if we trim these little ears off on the grommet, trim this lip off, and we glue it in with like yellow adhesive, which will suck if this grommet ever fails, but I think in my lifetime it'll probably last good enough. And then we'll just run breather here, and we'll just put another breather on this side. If we ever need to change the oil or fill it up, we'll just pop these out, and hopefully the grommet stays. So that's going to be the plan, because we can at least get a drill bit, at least a hole saw. It's 1.25 inches, and we can be pretty safe with getting that hole done. Dad is carrying parts that we need desperately for the Duster's 340, and I'm glad he at least brought the good delivery vehicle. Oh well.
Pizza?
Did you bring pizza?
No.
Holy crap, Dad, your Charger seriously needs like a pizza delivery thing on top. Like an old Pizza Hut from the 80s or 70s. Oh my God.
It'd actually be cooler if he actually brought pizza.
It would be cooler if he brought pizza. It's like 8 o'clock and is hungry. And that's what we need right there.
I don't know if you want to eat it.
Well, I don't think it's going to digest well. Thank you, Dad. Well, the atrocity is about to be committed.
Let me see if I can get a curve started.
I wish this thing would fit in the drill press. Slowly but surely. This train is a slow one and a cautious one. Like I said, this is 1 1/8 inch. So even if this is all messed up, we still got room to file out to get it to the final size of our custom-made bushing, which I don't remember where it is. I'll show you that later. Anyway, keep going. Smooth operator. Okay. That's still technically part of an NOS valve cover, W2 wide. That'll be on eBay. It's like 9 payments of like $10 billion. It's small price to pay for, you know, restoration. Also, it's featured in this video that you're watching. And I put that piece of tape on the back, so it also brought it with it. That goes with it. You don't get the whole saw.
Oh god, it stinks.
It does stink. It smells like rotten eggs. The arbor and the drill, you don't get that for that price. That's extra. Don't know how thick that is. I told everybody.
It's got to be over a half inch.
It is. I measured it, and it's 570 thousandths. It's almost 600 thousandths thick. Oh, welcome back, everybody. We're here the next day on this valve cover excursion, which I thought was going to be a quick, short video. Has devolved horribly. So here's this one. We glued in the grommet last night, let it set. It's basically almost been 24 hours since we set the glue, more or less. I went to go pull the breather out and kind of pulled the grommet out a little bit. So I had this sitting on the fire that I got running today. It's just a little on the chilly side. And I'm going to let it sit out here and cool off. And if that glue doesn't set, well, I'll show you plan D for Dust Devil Garage, because I think him and Dad came up with that yesterday. I introduced to you plan D. A piece of 1.25" NPT pipe that I'm currently machining. I bought a 6-inch piece and I just got done parting it, and now the idea here is to use, see, I also got 1 inch. 1 inch won't work. So the idea here is to use this style of breather, which I really do like, and then we'll get a big pipe tap, which we have access to those, and we'll just frickin' thread the frickin' more than ½ inch thick valve cover, and then I'm going to machine this neck until this fits on there really nice. I gotta make it smaller, and I also want this thing to almost sit down flush on the valve cover as close as possible, more like what that one is looking like right now. So I'm a lot of machine work. Having a lathe really pays for itself right now. Alrighty, so we're off the lathe. Let me just remind you what we started with. Literally just pipe from the hardware store. Still can't find my Dicom. And now we have this. Which this is still too tall, and we gotta find a tap. I think like I said, I think we can get our hands on a tap without having to spend a whole crap load of money. But that's how tall that is, and I made that extra tall so that way I know that it gets fully seated. And now I can draw a line with a Sharpie, measure how far that needs to go up in there to fully seat, and then I can measure that down, machine it wherever it needs to be, so that way when we get this thing set flush in the valve cover, if the adhesive doesn't work, this won't be sticking a mile in the air like it would be right now. Okay, hopefully plan C works, but if not, we'll go to plan D. Alright, there it is, final product. Yep. That is exceptionally custom. Hard to do on one hand. There, now it's together. Hard to take off with, you know, anything holding this down. Alrighty, so that's how that turned out. Probably would have preferred to leave a little bit of thickness here to attach it, but I think this is plenty thick. This will be fine for threading in. We'll put thread sealant, find our tap. But when this is fully installed, hoya! That's our depth set. So then we can screw this down as far as we want, get the look we're after, bada bing, bada boom. If the other plan doesn't work, gotta have backup plan. Alright, so just so everybody knows, if you guys say these valve covers, do you ever think it's a good idea to glue them in with weather strip adhesive? This is after sitting for over 2 days now. And that was a lot of glue pulled right out. Did not work. Don't waste your time with this. So the solution is, check out this black wrinkle job. Let me just take you out in the sun. What little sun we have left. Ooh, minus those, where it had some dirt on it. Look at that. That is almost perfect wrinkle black. So I'm kind of a stickler for wrinkle black. As you can see, here's some it's kind of spotchy, but this is wrinkle black from my Hemi Mickey Thompson street covers. The actual wrinkle black that you see on the valve cover straight from Mopar, because these were NOS until I did that. And you can see the new Proform Chinese made. it's basically just satin with a light texture. Whereas, use this stuff, the good stuff, and you get the heat just right and everything. It's pretty close. And you're curious, what do I use? Jed, what do you use to get such an awesome effect? Believe it or not, it's literally this stuff. All you have to do is follow the freaking directions on a warm day. Except for I do it like every 3 minutes, heavy coats. And then sometimes if it isn't active enough, I'll take a little, either a heat gun or a little torch like that and just lightly heat it until I see the effect, and I'll chase it around. Then you got it. All right, well, the pipe tap is on the way, and get these holes hogged out. All right, and here's your further update on the valve cover excursion. Okay, all the vise and stuff is removed from the drill press. We're gonna find a way to clamp the valve cover down to that so Dad can use the 1.5" hole saw, which will be just about perfect. We have done measuring upon measuring to make sure we get the right depth of thread from this pipe tap to get these sunk in exactly how far we want. Dad's got the fairly fun job because he just gets to use this. My hand on the other side, since we already preemptively drilled this hole, we have to hog it out now. So that outer black line is, I can't go any further than that. The inner black line, got to kill it. So gonna work on that. Wish me luck. Ah, this is so much better than doing it by hand. What said you did?
Looks like a machine shop.
Almost. Anybody who's curious about the strength and rigidity of my homemade valve cover bolts, they are what's holding this thing down to the base plate. So this is working out pretty good. That one's ready to tap. Finish this one up. Look at that, Dad. You made a hole.
Whitey law.
Nice. All right. See how that looks. Hopefully that looks better than that. Alrighty, fellers. So it's the next day. I know it's a lot of next days. You know, move a little, work a little. Okay, so here's that plug. I got that pulled out for you. Yeah, that's a thick valve cover. So I think I got that pipe tap pretty well true in that one. This one, we can almost start the breather. In fact, it is kind of started, but we're going to wring this one out until it's the 1.58 dimensions. That way we know we have the tap getting down to the depth we need it to get the breathers to sit as low as we want them to. So hop on that, show you when it's done. Or when I break it. Probably going to be broken or screwed up. My breather's going to be like off to one side and kiltered, and yeah, this is going to end badly. Okay, it's gonna be your last little update until I show you whether or not I destroyed this or did a good job. So I got it clamped down just how Dad had it last night, because that bench is not level and I was getting screwed up. So I'm taking about 3 turns, stepping back, checking true this direction and every direction. And I got me a big piece of steel there I know is true. I lost my actual square, but yeah, we'll find that. Anyway, so gonna keep going. Alrighty, well, I got everything done. That is hand tight. Got a pretty good height to it. I ran the tap down almost all the way. There's our final reveal. We're a little bit taller than where I had planned, but I think it's a good height overall. So I think we're gonna call that good. So now we gotta make that one match. So I gotta hog that hole out a little bit to 1.58 like this one. So that one can be proud just like this one. So just like it. And then of course we'll put some Teflon paste in there. Probably the paste. And then we'll clean it off from the inside. The only other thing is we got to double check to make sure we got clearance for the rocker gear. And I got to make baffles. So baffles will be easy. I ain't going to worry about showing you that. But alright, we'll get that one done. Put them on. Okay, look at, oh my God, we're already zoomed in. I forgot I was videotaping Hank the Groundhog, our local new mascot. So there's still just a little bit of stuff buried inside of those, but I would call that fully formed 1.25" MPT thread. So now we'll take this guy, and it's, by the way, anybody who's ever curious or doubted the fact that my valve cover hold downs were going to be strong enough, let it be known that while I was tapping this, I'm using this crescent wrench, and I'm actually moving the whole drill press around. Remember, this is our tap, okay? So yeah, these things held up just fine. So groovy, that's on. Now I just gotta paint that little bit that's showing, and same thing, Teflon paste, done. Okay guys and gals, so you know, minus the cancer scar, I would have probably pulled my hair out by now, just because this is so nerve-wracking. But you want to know something? It is done. Oh, that was quite a bit of work and a lot of stress for really something just stupid simple. Why did it have to be so hard to put freaking breathers in valve covers? I don't know. Let's ask these people right here. But anyways, I mean, there was probably 100 other different ways. There was probably a grommet I could have used. There was probably this solution or that solution. Regardless, I'm happy we did this because I like this. I like the pipe there. I got to get my lathe back in operation. That, I really do like that. And I'm starting to like the fender wells on this. I'm starting to forget what it looked like with the TTIs. But these are for the dart. They're not for the duster. Anyways. Oh, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope you guys are looking forward to more of this build, because at the end of this video, well, actually, this is the ending of this video, believe it or not. And actually, tomorrow, which would be Wednesday, the day of filming this would be the Tuesday before, Tall John will be here. We're going to actually start assembling this engine. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I look forward to seeing the next one. So as always, take care and bye-bye.